Welcome to Hashtag Social. I'm Liv.
And I'm Cole.
What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 2. That was where you were supposed to do one of the...
Oh, sorry.
Like the crowd sounds,
My bad.
clapping, cheering, something.
I'm sorry.
You're not taking
The
advantage
pad works
of-
both ways, okay?
Yeah, but you changed it. I don't know what's what anymore.
Well, there you go. This is some little like off-screen rhetoric for you. I messed up. There you go.
That's not a good one. Not a good one.
Anyways, we're back. Episode 2. Excited. We got some good feedback from the first one. Sounds like everybody's pretty happy so far. We'll see how that turns.
Everybody.
Huh?
Everybody is.
Everybody. Nobody's
mad.
No negative feedback, nothing.
None.
Which I'm good with.
Yeah.
No more negative.
Nope.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
We've had enough of that 2020.
It's not our journey for this podcast.
Mm-mm.
Only positive.
Only positives.
Oh, jeez.
Anyways.
We're going to do the rest of the episode like this.
And now for our 5 minutes of silence. Just go 6 just to mess with you.
This has got out of hand.
Yes,
real quick.
quickly. We've got a good
man.
episode for you today. Lots to talk about.
Yes.
Quickly, I'll have Liv recap what we talked about last time on the show, and then we've got some goodies for you this time.
Yes. Yeah. So for those who were not a part of episode 1 or you haven't listened to it, first off, go listen to it because these next few episodes are all going to build on each other. So it only makes sense to go listen to them. However, we are kind of going through a social media series of, from start to finish. Well, not even finish, really.
Yeah.
From start to present and continuing and building.
But we're going to get you the last episode, this one, and probably another 1 or 2 episodes. We're trying to get you through the basics. We're
Correct.
just going to get you started.
Yep. So last week we talked about identifying your theme, your niche of really what you're doing and why you're doing it, identifying your audience, and then we kind of covered on what really makes you stand out from your competition. Those are the 3 main points that we covered last week, and went into more detail there. So
yeah. And on this episode, we're going to talk about how to build upon those, and we're going to talk about the kind of what platforms will match kind of what you're going for, which branding might be, how to source maybe a profile picture, things like that. So we're going to build upon that. But first, we want to kind of introduce a new thing where we're going to talk about a little bit of social media news, just a topic or 2 each episode, and kind of give you guys an update on what's going on out there.
do we have a good sound on our little board here of our news segment?
I'll have to work on that. We need like the
We'll
little
work
like
on Yep.
and this is news.
Yeah.
Anyways, so
This is hashtag news.
Oh, I like that.
That's good.
Look at that. See, this is like we're brainstorming right on the show.
We
okay?
are. You're seeing this live, people.
Keep up. Okay, so there's a couple things that are happening with Instagram that we wanted to talk about. First off, I was met with an update recently, which I think that they have been rolling this out in stages because...
Yes, because I've had the update for a while now.
Right. Well, and I've even like... I don't know if I'm still on the beta channel anymore. I used to be. But I want to say that I've seen this layout before and I've used it, but for whatever reason, it was reverted.
Oh, okay.
So, but this week I saw it come up. My wife, Audrey, asked me, how in the world do I get to my likes? And I said, wait a second.
Hold up.
So
Wait
they moved
a
a couple different things. We've got our likes in the top right-hand corner now next to the messages.
Yeah, so you have where you can post a photo, your likes, and then your messages are all in the top right corner, which throws me off because on the bottom bar in the middle was always where you would post a photo, and now it's where your reels are.
Right.
And then they no longer have the camera in the right or the top left corner to put on your story. I think that is
built in now.
Built in where you just slide and or you go to your home page and do like your own profile and click the plus sign on the top right bar.
Right.
And then it gives you all of the...
Which there's also an option that I realized, which I'm going to show Liv while we're talking here on video, but if you go to your main feed and you hit the plus button on the top right...
it's down here
it
too.
actually gives you, if you slide through there on the bottom,
story,
you'll see the whole thing, post, story, reels,
or live.
and you're live. So, yeah, look out for that. If you haven't got the update, eventually you'll be down there trying to press that heart, and then all of a sudden now you're in the shop.
Now you're shopping.
Now you're shopping, which I think that was probably intentional.
Oh, it was entirely intentional. And same thing for the reels.
Oh, yeah.
It has to be.
Well, no one was using it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Or at least a small
and
amount.
it wasn't in a very, like, notable place.
Right.
So now you're just always in reels, and now you're always shopping.
Yep.
Coincidence?
I think
not.
Oh.
So there you have it.
And speaking of, we were talking about live, the other update that has come out, and you'll probably see some of this depending on who you follow, but now there is Instagram Live shopping. So their example of this, there was a woman on the screen, and she had, their live feed going, exactly how we all know what it looks like. You've got your comments and your hearts and things coming up from the bottom left. But then at the very bottom, there was a picture of the product that this person was selling, which was a red beanie, which they had on, but it was also listed in the bottom. So now there's like a QVC type feed where you can go on and do your shopping at 2 a.m., but you can do it on Instagram and watch somebody show it off.
I know. It's kind of cool, though.
I'm into it.
I'm here for it.
Because their ads are super good. Like, there's stuff that comes across all the time. I'm like,
yes,
I need that, and I didn't know I needed it.
Right. Always.
Yes.
And now I have a million ads for, can you guess? Baby things.
Oh, yeah.
All of the... and I'm like...
They're getting you good now.
I'm like, oh my gosh, I need it. I need it. Oh my gosh, I need that. Brad's like, no.
Stop it.
You don't.
Although
Stop
Black
looking
Friday's
at it.
coming up, so now's your opportunity. But I know that's off subject, but I've been doing some of my Black Friday shopping. But yeah, so those are two big things that have happened with Instagram. Look out for those. And that concludes news today.
Yep.
Stay tuned for next
time.
time.
I know.
I know,
like
right?
trying to do a little song outro.
Right? How do we segue from here?
Yeah. If we had the song, we would.
I know.
It would make the transition a lot easier.
One more thing for me
now we're
to
just
do.
making it awkward for everybody involved.
I know, right? They're like, is it over or is it not?
Yeah, they keep talking about it.
Okay.
All right, y'all. So up to this point, we now know what we're doing and why we're doing it. And we know who we are.
Yes.
So now it's time to get into some of the like fun, more creative side of starting your brand on social media.
This is where it gets exciting.
Yes.
Where you're like, wait, what?
Well, this is where
visuals come
I
together.
like thrive and get like excited because doing like the whole like planning a photo shoot and getting your branding and your colors and all of that sort of thing is like yes. And I know you feel the same way because that's like media is your is your baby.
I'm like, okay, now we get to totally make this look.
He's like,
what's in my head.
Yes, exactly.
That's the best part.
Yes.
And then see if we can pull in the followers, but try not to get ahead here.
Yeah.
So the first thing we got here is we're going to talk about your naming. So now that you kind of have an idea of what you want to do, again, I think maybe the good way to put it is like that's your who, and this is kind of your what. This is your visualization of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I know Liv can expand upon this a little bit better than I can because she's been whooping my butt about the naming. So she's had me change a couple times. So when we talk about naming, we're speaking more, if you're trying to do something with branding or a company, obviously you're going to come up with something that goes along with that, which you probably already had when you were starting your social page.
Mm-hmm.
But then the other part of it is, we've all had that same email since we were little kids, and we've got that tag, that profile tag that we use on everything, and it's our gamer tag on Xbox, and it's our email address.
It's your webkin's name.
Whatever that is.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
really?
Webkins. What is that?
Yeah. Okay. Really quick timeout.
Okay.
So this was like a thing, which was mostly popular with the girls species. Like when we were younger, we got those stuffed animals that came with a code that you could go online and enter that code in. So like, okay, so I got a pink poodle. We're shocked by this. And it came with a code, and I can go on to Webkins online and put that code in, and now I have a pink poodle online that I can build a house for and like play all these games with and everything.
Okay. So that's Webkins.
And you have to have a username for that. Wow. I can't believe you don't know about Webkins.
I do now.
I need to ask the people.
Yes, that needs to.
Who had Webkins?
Yeah, and then we'll see what that evens out to be.
Yeah, it's like all girls. We're like,
we have a lot of girl followers anyway. Yeah. So. Man, I'm totally.
Anyway,
lost
sorry.
now.
That was a
username. Yeah, username. So again, we were talking about like the one that you've always had. You will be tempted to use that. Liv, tell the people why they shouldn't do that.
Oh gosh.
And let's talk specifically about personal, because we understand if you got a business, you're going to use your business name to the best of your ability.
Correct.
But
so let me get the scroll
sin
of reasons why not to. So we'll use you as an example because I know that this won't hurt your feelings.
No, it won't. She already did it, and it's in the past, so I'm over it.
Okay, so when you're first off building a personal brand or a business, it's usually a good idea to have a separate personal page, one where you can kind of plug your friends and family into your business and what it is that you do, and obviously like you want to show off your family and like your vacations and things like that and interact that way,
right?
So it's a good idea, I think, to have a separate personal page, because then again you can just kind of promote what it is that you're doing on the business side. With that, I will use as an example. Cole's username for several years was Coltrane.
Yep.
Okay.
04.
004.
Yes.
Gosh, make it worse. So, the reason why this isn't usually the greatest idea is because no one's going to search for Coltrane.
Nope.
Okay. I will say, so that's your user, or that was his username, and then they obviously have a spot for what your name is, so you can put, Cole Ankney.
Get ready. This is where the genius comes in. She blew my mind the first time on this.
So you want to kill two birds with one stone. Okay. So if you've met somebody, and you like are referring them to your page or, word of mouth, whatever that may be, and someone searches your name, so they're searching Cole Ankney. Okay, well, I told Cole, hey, you should switch your username to cole.ankney, because when that gets searched, boom, you're going to pop up. Okay?
Yep.
Not only that, in the name section on your Instagram, that should really be your title. Is that the right word for it?
Yeah. What you're about or whatever.
So, for instance, Cole is a photographer and realtor. I was like, that you need to put that in where your name is on Instagram, because, or I think I said Indianapolis.
Yeah, I think it says indie photographer and realtor.
Correct. Because you can go on Instagram and search Indianapolis photographer, and now his name is going to pop up because that's his name on Instagram, and it's not just his username. So you're kind of killing two birds with one stone there.
It makes for a pretty profile too.
It does.
It looks good.
And then it's not only are you upping your chances of people coming to your page based on what they're searching, but it also is very clear and concise when people come to your page. You're like, oh, great, he's a photographer and a realtor. It's great.
Ta-da.
Now I know. Right?
Yep. It's beautiful.
Yep.
So accomplish that. And then, which the next step, which we really like, is branding. And, and this is all encompassing,
I want to say something really quick on name brainstorming. Specifically when you're creating a brand and you don't want it to necessarily just be your name, right? Like you don't just want Cole Ankney. Like you want it to be something more creative. This is something we did with, I guess really just the podcast is the main thing that we've done brainstorming for. I asked you on my personal business stuff of like your advice. But
Right.
the best way to go about doing that is literally get a notepad out and a pen and just start writing out keywords, phrases that would go along with your business and what it is that you're doing.
I want to say, I know there's a name for it. It's like word cloud or something like that. There's like a name for it. I don't remember. Of course, now talking, I don't remember it, but yes.
And there are like different like things you can go online and search. Like you can put in some keywords and they'll come up with some strange name generators for you that are super weird.
Right.
So some of them are helpful, some of them are not, but it's at least good to get all of those ideas out there because then you kind of start to kind of mold what it is. So for example, the show before #social was called Life and Lattes. We wanted it to be more of a lifestyle podcast and we wanted to drink coffee on every episode. So we were like, okay, what's any word related to coffee?
Yep.
And then anything related to lifestyle, chatting, talking, friends, all of that sort of thing. We literally wrote tons of things out and then started to kind of weed through what sounded good.
Right.
And then from there, once you kind of hone in on what you want that name to look like, then you have to make sure that it's not taken.
Right, which is the toughest part.
So,
which we went through the same process with this, which
yeah,
maybe even Liv can put this up, but I'm just going to show her like this list here on the right are all the keywords that I could think of.
Yes.
So in my notes app here, I was like, I know kind of where we wanted to go. Mm-hmm. We were going to talk about social media.
I got to give you credit. You came up with the name and I was like, I like that.
Well, I sent her like 2 or 3 and she was like, #social.
Yeah.
That's the one. And I was like, okay, great. That was easy.
That was perfect.
Yeah.
Because now.
Well, yeah. But it was literally like a list of like 50 or 60 keywords. And it was just anything I could think of. And I used Google to really back up like, what are some other terms? Like if we're
you
talking.
can literally look up like a thesaurus.
Right.
And look and like type in words. You're like, okay, what are some other, words that would be similar to this? Synonymous.
And I was just like, so social media, like what are terms that are associated with that specifically? And it was very interesting. I was like, okay, that one works, throw it in. Yeah. And then it was like, now I'm going to mix these things together somehow.
Yeah. And then just start to kind of to narrow it down. And it's not going to be a one-day process.
No.
It will not.
It's worth the time though.
It really is though. So taking your time on it for sure. We would definitely recommend because then that's your brand.
Yep.
So you have to think about that. And obviously you can rebrand.
Some have tried.
But, ideally you want to go into it with the mindset that that's the name you're going to keep.
Yes.
So
it helps to build upon that. Yes.
Yep.
So
yeah. Okay.
we're the exception today.
I know. Do as we say, not as we do.
Right. We're just flying by the seat of our pants. We don't even know.
Oh, man.
We just fake it till you make it.
That's true. However, though, we rebranded because what our topics and what the show was going to be centered around no longer matched up with the name.
Right.
So.
And we thought that it was an appropriate time to do so. Because we're like, okay, we don't have like 1 million downloads, so I think we'll be okay if we switch some things up.
Yeah, yep.
It's only been 6 months or so since we've recorded, so we
so
should be fine.
We're fine.
People probably forgot about us.
Yep.
So that's kind of your first step into that, and then branding, which kind of comes with that, but we're talking now more visually.
Correct.
Which again, these are things that we really enjoy, so we're passionate about this, but like color palette, that's a huge thing, and that's so easy. Like pick a color you like, and you can literally take that color, plug it into a website, and it gives you 4 or 5 other colors that go with it.
Yep.
And they give you a whole palette.
So
this is very important.
You can also, for my Pinterest people, literally just search on Pinterest because you will get a crazy amount of color palettes, aesthetics that you're looking for, and just some other like vibes to go around with that.
Is that how you found ours?
For hashtag.
Yeah.
No, I think we just both kind of were like, oh yes, I did.
Yeah, I was gonna say you sent me an actual
color
palette.
Yes, I sent you from Pinterest, but I had an idea. I wanted it to be like blue tones, and so I was like, literally went to Pinterest and I was like, blue tone like palettes, and like went up there and they showed tons, and I was like, that's perfect. That's what I'm looking for. And then. Yeah, I mean, you can go down a Pinterest rabbit hole of trying to find things that are similar to it, which is what I've done for my party planning or event planning page, what I did for my social media consultant page. I literally I made a whole mood board, I guess you could say, of what I wanted for my page.
Smart, though.
It really is. And now I do that even with my... with some of my clients that I work with on social media who are really just kind of getting started, kind of like what we're talking about here. I'm like, all right, let's do a shared Pinterest board. Start pinning what you want your vibes to look like for this page. And it's so helpful.
Look at that. Using social media to help you get started in social media. Who would have thought?
I know.
I love it.
Wow. Yep.
We've come full circle.
I know. And that's it for the episode. Just kidding.
But yeah, so then you got your name, you got your color palette, and then of course, in that visual, you got your logo, your, so you got your logo, and then you would go beyond that, right? So you got your highlight covers, your cover photos for all the different, sites that accept that, Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and blah blah blah. So
and,
you're really getting that visual vision.
Yes, absolutely. So kind of honing in on what you want the visuals to look like, because that is, oh my gosh, you guys, take one thing away from this episode. The aesthetics of your page is a lot.
Yep.
I don't want to say it's everything. I like really hesitate to say that it's everything, but it is a lot, because when someone comes to your page and it looks really nice, people want to stay and hang out.
It's true though.
It's like
it is.
We're just we are visual creatures. It's
the truth.
It is what it is. So when you have a pretty looking page, people are like, "Oh, I kind of want to look at this." But when it's hectic, there's no rhyme or reason. The colors don't mesh well. You're kind of like, ugh.
Right? What is happening?
Don't want to look at this anymore.
When it's always like your profile image is what they see first, right? So that's a big one. If you're a brand or a company, you want your logo there. If you're personal, you want a headshot. And when we say headshot, we mean...
We need your face.
Yes. Your face,
we don't
clear, concise.
We don't want a far away photo of your whole body.
Right.
No one can see your face.
Right.
You obviously know what your face looks like, okay? So you know that it's you.
But I don't.
But yeah, Joe Schmo doesn't know what your face looks like.
Joe Schmo doesn't know.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
And so like when someone's searching for your name or your title, and your picture pops up and it's a faraway photo, it's not a good one.
Yes.
Don't do that.
And if you're doing anything that has to do with photography, make sure that your composition is right. That's what we're talking here. Composition. This is how your photo is framed. This is how it looks like. Think about it. Like Liv said, not far off, close up. We want to see your face. And specifically, I think too, what a lot of people make a mistake is they get that picture and they just pulled it from somewhere. They're like, oh, this is my favorite picture. But the problem is like the background is a busy cityscape, and there's like 1,000 things going on, and you're like, I can't make you out now. So I mean, there's just a bunch of stuff. We could do an episode on that alone.
We really could. We can dive in on that,
which probably will.
So, I wanna reel it back a little bit to your branding.
Yes, yeah,
so
I'm
yeah, got a little excited. So let's call a spade. Not everyone has the access or the funds to hire someone to do the branding for them.
Right.
Which I totally understand. Which is why, one, it's such a good idea to be an advocate for yourself, for your own business, to find your vision and make a board for it. Make that vision board. literally a literal bulletin board if you want, or a Pinterest board, like whatever. And then Canva. I don't know if you use this. You probably don't.
I haven't used it, no, but I am familiar with it.
Okay. Canva is such a good resource for, I would say beginners, but even past beginners, it's a good resource because you can literally plug in your whole color palette, like the color numbers. I don't even know what those are called. Do you know?
Hex codes.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can literally plug those in and make a whole brand folder, and you can choose your fonts, you can choose your colors, all of that sort of thing. So then you can start to like plug in photos, quotes, anything like that. So that's a really, really great way to get started if you don't have somebody that's, doing branding for you. Luckily
Right.
for me, I literally send things to Cole and I'm like, hey, this is my idea. Can you make it happen? And more times than not, he's like, yep, on it.
Right.
Done.
And for those of you that are on, so that's the nice thing about Liv and I is we can speak to so many different groups of people because we've done it all different ways.
Yep.
and at this point in our careers and in our marketing careers, like we have a lot more tools at our disposal. Mm-hmm. And specifically, so that's why Liv comes to me. I pay for Adobe every month. And so she's like, hey, make this work for me. And I'm like, okay.
I just know at this point, like you, and I really just come for you for the podcast at
Right.
this point.
Right. This is true.
But yeah, I'm like, this is my idea. I know you know the vibes. Go do it.
And then I just go, is this okay?
Yep.
But the reason I was saying that is because there are a lot of other tools, of course, at your disposal. Like if you're looking for a way to streamline your posting, there's Adobe Spark, which is a really cool app that puts everything together, which I'm sure you probably haven't heard of.
I don't actually know this one.
Now, of course, you have to be subscribed to the plan and
Okay.
use them to use some of the premium services and things like that. I want to say that you can still use it even if you don't have an Adobe account.
Okay.
But I haven't used it in that capacity. So from what I understand, I think you need one. But it's a way to, you can have a branding setup just like what you're talking about in Canva. So you can say, these are my colors, these are my fonts, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And it plugs that in every time. It's just a little bit more, it's a way to kind of have some curated content that is more stock.
Okay.
So, I mean, if you've got a filler day when maybe you're trying to promote a product or you're trying to promote like you say, you got a quote or maybe you got a new post and you want to make a story, it gives you animations and all these different things that you can use in video and photo. So another really good resource that Adobe doesn't tell you about. So
Gotcha. Yeah.
if
I
you
didn't
have
know
access to that.
Yeah. I didn't know that existed. So obviously both of those of what we're talking about is, if you're really trying to cut some corners on things and wanting to do things yourself, if not, oh my gosh, reach out to small businesses and, brands that do this for a living.
Yep.
I had somebody that created my whole branding for my social media business. And oh my gosh, y'all, I can't even tell you. Like I love to do that side of it, and really put my vision out there and on paper and I guess computer, not necessarily paper.
Yeah.
But it is so nice to just word vomit your ideas and your vibes to somebody, and then they just go and create it, and they come back, and it's literally what you had envisioned, and you didn't have to do it.
Yeah. So please do tell.
Yeah.
I have not done this.
Yeah.
And that gets into a whole other subject as well that we could branch off on. That's just like, eventually you're going to get to that point where you gotta, what's the right word for it? It's delegate. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry. Where you got to start delegating those things out where you go,
for
okay,
sure.
maybe I can use some other talent here and it helps you. Because in that meantime, I'm sure you're able to check a lot of things off your list while somebody else is getting the branding done.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. And
that's a pro tip.
oh yeah.
That's a pro tip.
Oh, it's so nice. And yeah, it'll take time for you to get there, or at least for some people, it may take you some time to get to that spot where you're delegating all of these things. However, I will say, try and find a small business that's looking to grow
Yep.
and collaborate.
Yeah.
or see if they will collaborate with you.
We're doing that sort of stuff right now with Triflix. You know, it's
Yep.
like, hey, we'll offer a discount, or maybe we'll do something for free because
Right. Swap services.
yeah, you need something in your portfolio. We do too. How do we make this work?
Correct. Yeah. And to some degree, that's kind of what you and I do with some of that. I mean, he
Yeah.
does like all of the photos of things that I, need for social media. And then in turn, I give him a high five.
Yeah. And then I say, hey, I'm going to put your face on the internet. So
Yeah, and
just know that.
Obviously,
I own you.
Run, whoa. And I
Your
obviously run the, the social media for our podcast, and he comes to me with different, social media questions. So it's kind of a give and take there, which is really nice for the both of us.
Heck
I would
yeah.
think.
No.
Good. So collaborating.
Lives a user. Not that kind.
I feel like we need that like sound that's like standby.
Yeah.
It's like beep. Okay, we're back. We just fought for a second.
What are friends for?
To fight.
I don't know why she puts up with me.
I don't either.
But
It's because he
yeah.
takes my pictures. That's why.
hold on. Beep. No.
Just kidding.
Now we're even.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think we've gone down the deep rabbit hole here. Kind of reel ourselves back in. So these are ways to continue to help with your brand continuity and your look, so that your branding stays the same across everything, which
Correct.
it needs to. That's a big deal.
So let me say something to that really quick. So if you're not already getting the whole vibe, and really what we're saying here, the whole theme of this is to have a clear, concise idea of what you're doing, how you're doing it, why you're doing it, and what it looks like knowing all of those.
Right.
Clear and concise.
Yes. Like we're trying to be, but somewhat failing.
What?
Trying to be clear and concise with our thought process here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome to our minds. They're
Yeah,
just
I
kind of. But no. So now you've got a name, you've got a logo or a profile picture. You figured out how to do that. And seriously, everybody has a camera or a new iPhone or whatever it might be. So if you need somebody to just help you, please don't make it a selfie.
Yeah. On your profile,
Yeah.
it can be a selfie.
I mean, it can, but let's just make sure that the lighting is good.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
The front-facing camera is just a lower of quality.
Yeah.
You're gonna get more.
I will say on Instagram though, if it is lower quality on your tiny Instagram profile picture, it's a little harder to tell that it's bad or it's lower quality.
This is just me being a perfectionist.
I know it is. But I will say selfies aren't the worst. Just like one, again, make sure it fits the branding. You're not having like all of this distracting stuff behind you, that sort of
It's
thing.
in focus. The
Correct.
lighting is good. The background isn't super blown out, and your face is just a shadow. But anyways,
Yep.
so you've got all the visuals now. You've got colors. You've got logos. You got branding.
You have your name.
You got your name. We know who you are now.
Wow.
So now you're probably like,
We're making moves here, people.
I'm here. Well, not quite. What's next for the people live?
Social media apps. Is that what you're?
Yeah. You get your apps, and make sure that when you know kind of what you're, now you've kind of figured out what you're doing, what your deal is online. You got to have that ready because everybody's going to want a bio.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I know, but it's honestly the next step. Like, right? You're like,
It is.
okay,
So-
I'm on Instagram and I'm like, I've got my username and my email, my password, and my profile picture. And then they're like, I need a bio or description. You're like,
So
I am me.
let me like go backwards for a second here because yep. Okay, great. So I want to say this. I think it's pretty much clear at this point that that Instagram kind of rules this space for
It's true.
really marketing yourself
Yeah.
in terms of social media, right? Like most people are going to go to Instagram. And then obviously you have Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and Pinterest, and you can use all of those things. But most of the time you're going to link everything back to your Instagram and link all of those accounts from your Instagram.
Right.
And your main source of engagement and posting is going to be on Instagram. So a lot of what we're talking about is going to be more Instagram focused.
Which, and one of the main reasons that is because that's what we are. We are very focused on that platform.
Yep.
Now, again, that's because that's where I should say that's a majority of our demographic. Because you might have a brand, you might have a product, you might be trying to reach out to a different demographic.
Sure.
And if that's the case, then, there's also a lot younger crowds on other platforms. But then there's also, on Facebook, you can reach everybody. And we're talking from your grandparents all the way down.
Yeah.
And there's not as much of that happening on Instagram, I think. I know it's kind of a trickle down effect. But I think we're not seeing as much, and you're getting different engagement on different platforms.
Sure.
So.
Oh, for sure. And we touched on this a little bit last week that, obviously you can link your accounts on Instagram and Facebook. So whatever you post on Instagram can be automatically posted on Facebook, which is really nice and a lot less work for you to do. But I will say there are a lot more resources of engagement on Instagram.
Yep. Yes. So anyways.
Yeah.
And that's why, so we're just going to keep referring to Instagram, I think, but it's still, a lot of stuff's universal. Every single page, essentially, or app is going to want a profile picture. They're going to want a bio. They're going to want your username.
Yeah.
And all that information. So it's sort of universal.
Correct.
And I think the one exception is usually a cover photo.
Correct. Yep. Okay. So we've got all of the things at this point. So now we're going in and we're making a bio. Okay.
Yep.
This can be, I feel like we say this a lot. This could literally be a whole episode of do's and don'ts. And maybe we will, we'll cross that bridge at another point.
Let's just give them
I'm going to give you a high level of what your bio should be. Okay. This is not a place where you say that you're a dog mom and a coffee lover and your favorite show is Friends. Okay. Oh my gosh, please don't do that. This is a place to tell people in a quick, brief way what it is that you do and how you can serve them.
Yep.
Bingo. That's it.
Yeah, because there's a character limit, I'm pretty sure.
Well, there is.
Which is good anyways. I'm just saying,
correct.
Especially with that hard character limit, it also helps you in your mind, there's only so much I can do. How do I get my message across fast?
Yep. And then, for those who have websites or you have a YouTube or some sort of link that's outside of Instagram, you'll want to add that in there. And then in your bio, you can say, click here for more resources or, something along those lines that gets people to make some sort of action or move off of your bio. So, should we evaluate Kohl's?
Great. It's fine. I can already tell you what it is. It really just links to everything else. It links.
So, okay.
Says who I am.
Correct. So this is your personal one.
Correct.
So I'm okay with the way that you have done this one because you were linking your business pages, which is what I've done for my personal one as well. However, he has on his, I'm so proud.
I know.
We also should mention too, for an entrepreneur or a creator or a business, it's a really good idea to change your personal page to a business or content creator account.
Yes. And we'll get to that.
Yes, we'll eventually get to that. But just so you know that. Okay. So Kohl's username is Cole.Ankney. Proud. His name is indie realtor and photographer. And again, we did both of those so that way he can be searched, in two different realms. And then when people come to his page, it's super clear. Okay. And then in his bio, he's a realtor, he's a podcaster, he's a photographer. And then he linked those separate pages next to it. So it is very clear.
Right.
I'm proud. I'm proud.
Well, you did some of this. So.
Yeah, I know. I'm proud of myself. That's
Yeah,
what
I
I'm
was
trying to say. So if you have a personal page, like I said, that kind of where you promote your businesses or your brand, whatever, that's a good idea. Okay. I'll go over to will roast me.
Yeah. Come on.
We'll go to my social media account. My bio.
This is your Live Socially, yes?
This is my Live Socially account. Yep.
Okay.
My bio says, I help passionate entrepreneurs grow their business and brand using social media via one-on-one coaching, account management, and more. So I am telling them what it is that I do and how I offer that.
Yep. Which it's kind of funny because a lot of these things have trickled down from search engines, websites, things like that, because that was there before any of this, right? Mm-hmm. So I used to do a lot of digital marketing and ad work online. So when you think of these things like and website design specifically, so when you go to a website, the first thing you need to know is what does this person or entity do. That's your first thing, and that's what Google picks up. That's what everybody sees, and this is the same concept. Mm-hmm. As soon as you can tell somebody what it is that you're trying to accomplish, that's where it needs to be.
Yep.
This is important.
Correct. Yep. So you really want to make it clear as to what it is that you do, how you can serve them, and really kind of pull them in and entice them into what it is that you offer.
Right.
That's your bio.
Yep.
And making that short and sweet so people know right off the bat what it is.
Yep. So now we can get to the next thing here. Now that you've gotten all this stuff figured out, and we've actually talked about some of this, so we won't go into it too far, but now it's time to pick your platforms. Mm-hmm. There's a million out there, so choose carefully.
Yeah. Yes. I again am a little biased. I think it makes sense to have an Instagram and have a Facebook.
Yep.
That's a really, really good place to start. Now for Cole, who's a creator or content creator, and you do videos, mm-hmm. to have a YouTube page to link people to,
right,
makes sense. We video record our podcast. Yep. So we also have a YouTube that we, link on our social media accounts. So
right. And maybe like a little side note pro tip. I link to my personal website, which is coleankney.com, which is the hub of all of that. If you want to see what I do in photography, it's on there. Video, it's on there. Audio, I've got the podcast episodes on there.
Yeah.
So and it's so cheap to do. You can use Squarespace, you can use Wix, you can use any of the options out there, and you can make a website, and then you're like, people go, wow, okay, you're dedicated to this. Your personal branding is there, and that makes a big difference.
There is another way to do it if you don't have a website, because I don't have a website yet.
Here we go.
So this is something that I'm working on. One, I would ideally like to have a website at some point, but life's crazy, so we'll get there eventually. However, you can do a link tree, and you can link your Pinterest, which Pinterest is super useful that people aren't taking advantage of. Yes. You can link your Twitter, your YouTube, your Facebook page, all right there. Especially that's really nice if you, don't have an account yet that has 10,000 followers where you can add a swipe up feature. This at least gives one little hub of all of your links for your social media accounts that people can kind of go to.
I love
it. This is kind of getting a little lost here as well.
That's okay.
But,
I dig it.
If you are in the influencer space or you're wanting to get there, Linktree is also a great place to link some things that you suggest for people to buy. So then it's easy. You can just be click the link in my bio. Here's this. You can go shop my favorites or whatever.
There you go.
I'm out of breath.
I know. I was like, you actually sounded like blame it on all pregnancy.
For real, though.
I'm sure.
It's so strange. Okay. I'm just talking, and I'm like, okay,
Right?
Time out, cold talk.
Hold on a second. Let me just take a break to grow this human a little bit, and then
We'll get back at it.
anyways.
Um,
Wow, we got way off. But yeah,
So yeah, I mean, just to kind of circle back in, we are
Facebook,
going
Instagram.
into a little bit of detail of some of these things, so you have an idea. You have, little tips, tricks of resources to use for these things. I don't want to just word vomit these things that you should be doing and then not offer any, resources or things
Right.
that you could be doing or examples of what you could be doing.
right.
So sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say which we can always provide that.
Right.
There's only so much time that we have to do this, and we will make more episodes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So these things we'll definitely touch on. But if there's something that you want answered, reach out.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah,
it's for.
absolutely. And we are, which Cole is trying to like rein me in a little bit, we're trying to keep this at a more high level overview of, getting started in your brand and your business and getting that started in social media and what that looks like
Yeah, for the moment. So
for the moment.
yeah,
And
getting
then
there.
we will dive into more of the
the details.
later. But
Into the
this is just like my,
I get it.
I love
Which
it.
is good.
I just,
That's why we're
I
here.
want to like word vomit all of these things to you because it's just, it's great.
I get it. I get it.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
So choosing platforms. So we're definitely saying, I think no matter what, we're Facebook and Instagram, which
Correct.
again, you have to look at, I'm a big numbers person. When I first started in social media, I did my research. How many daily active users are these platforms using? And this was pre-Facebook owning Instagram. This was looking at Instagram from a business standpoint when a lot of people weren't in the beginning anyways. So, you can, obviously they're the top two. They have so many users. And then you can go from there. And it's just good if you're like, I want to reach a large audience, you can look up these demographics online. So
Yeah.
give that some thought. But I think those are kind of your big two, and then you can branch from there. Depending upon what you're trying to accomplish, all of the different sites are going to offer you something different.
Right. What you're wanting to accomplish and who you're trying to target
Exactly.
are really the main two things that you want to ask yourself when you're looking into other platforms.
Yep. And we're
So.
going to leave it there for now.
We will.
Yep.
I'll stop myself.
Yeah.
Self-control.
You got this,
man.
Liv. I
know.
believe in you.
I know.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Okay, so we touched on that. The one of the things that Liv mentioned earlier, and this will be our last thing today, is the option within Instagram. Yeah, we're back on that. To make your profile from a standard profile to a business profile. Mm-hmm. And there's a reason you want to do this, whether you're a business or not. If you're like me, or if you're like Liv and you use that data, I like to see the data just because I like the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But this gives you the option to be able to see your post engagement and your profile views.
Yeah, they started out with just having a business option. So I have had my personal page on a business option for a long time now until they came out with like the creator option.
Right.
So it's kind of like a entrepreneur or creator or whatever that is. I mean, there's a lot that falls under that
Right.
creator umbrella. So I changed my personal page to that. But both on the creator and the business, you can, you can see the insights of so much of, who, obviously you can see who's liking, who's commenting, but you can see, if this post is getting sent to a bunch of people, if people are saving this, you can see who your demographic is, like who you are actually targeting.
Yes.
What?
No, I'm just saying, yes, it's
Okay.
fantastic.
You
It's,
just were like looking
I
at me funny.
love data. Like, this is how, eventually once you get everything started, this is your way of seeing what posts work and what don't.
Yeah.
Because you can go online and see, like, what's the best time to post?
Mm-hmm.
What's the best day to do it? When did this and when that?
Well, are you talking about like Googling that?
Yes.
Yeah, you can definitely do that. But what's nice, when you do switch your accounts to these and you look in your insights, you can literally see your own audience when they're most active,
Right.
what days they're most active. So that way you know when is the most optimal time to be posting.
Right. And that's what I was trying to get at, that
Right.
you can bypass that and see data that is specific to what you're doing.
Right.
Which is so much better than just general data.
Yeah.
So it's a big part of it for sure.
Mm-hmm. So let me go backwards a little bit. I said that my personal page has kind of been on a business account for a while. I don't even know what is available on just like a standard account anymore that you can see.
Yeah, that's a great question because I've been on the business as well
Yeah.
for a very long time.
So I mean, you can obviously see who likes your stuff and comments on it, but can you see who views your stories? I don't know those kinds of things.
It's a great question.
We'll get back with you on that.
Yeah, right? Look at us. We're disconnected.
I know. Oh my gosh. It's because we've had it on that account setting for so long. I don't even remember. And things have changed obviously since then too. So
yes, ever changing.
It's hard to say.
That's hard to keep up on.
So just a quick little pro tip.
Yeah.
So I said when you go on your insights, you can see when your audience is most active. Here is also a fun tip. Okay. So you know how you go to post or like to start a live video?
Yeah.
Let me just show you this as I'm talking about it. Let's say we're going to do a live video really quick. You can see how many of your followers are active right now.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And the reason why that is nice for two reasons. One, if you're actually doing a live video, you can see how many users or your followers are live or active.
That's really
to
cool.
see if it's an optimal time to even be doing a live or an optimal time to be posting.
Oh yeah, right. See how many people are online before you get on.
Correct.
That's a big little pro tip behind the scenes. I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So I would recommend kind of studying that the next few days. Just like look at it of the time of day, and a lot of that will match up with the insights that Instagram provides for you. But it is nice to see.
Yeah, what a nice quick way to check.
Yeah. Like literally just an hour and a half ago, I had about 50 more followers that were active.
Yep.
So that would have been a better time to start a live than right now. Or,
right.
That sort of thing. Right. So
sweet.
That was just a little nugget.
I like it.
For you guys.
I like it. Okay. I know that's a lot. That's a lot to process. But the awesome thing is this is a recording and you can listen to this however many times you need to.
You can slow it down too.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Or speed it up.
Yep.
Which I am. So Liv and I we still do so much of this on our own, and on our own time and for free. So one of the things that I want to do is start breaking down the episodes and let you guys see in the descriptions on the podcast platforms so you can see when we talk about what. I can't promise you that's going to be soon, but I'm going to start doing it at some point. So
like timestamps?
Yes. So hang on, but it'll be there.
We'll get
it's
there.
on the docket, so just trust me on this. I'm just, we're only one episode in and we're changing some processes, so we're getting there.
We are.
But yeah, so next episode, we're going to talk about a couple different things. We'll talk about some paid versus organic ads, maybe some how to use a content calendar and how to get some things started like that on planning.
Yeah, actually getting to the posting side of it. We'll touch on a little bit of, engagement with your followers.
Hashtags.
We'll start to get into the actual content, getting that out to people. So
yeah, and how to get it.
Yep.
So and what ones work the best, because there's a couple different ways to put stuff out there.
Yep.
So anyways, thanks for listening to episode 2.
That's all.
Yeah.
We're out.
We out. Enjoy your week.
Happy
2 weeks.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving. Gobble gobble.
Should have that as a sound on here. Just a turkey real quick.